Okay, good evening, everybody. This is the Conservation Commission's meeting for Wednesday, October 18th at 7:01. We have with us tonight Bob Shabbat, Pat Phillips, Nora Jones, and Marilyn Schreiber, and myself, Kathleen Demers. Carol Jordan is excused tonight, so I'd like to have a motion to seat Nora.
So moved.
Okay, second.
Oh, second.
Okay, thank you. All right. You're seated, Nora. I see you are seated. Approval of minutes for September 20th. So here a motion.
I move that we accept the minutes of the last meeting, September meeting,
Okay.
as presented.
Okay. Now here a second.
I'll second it.
Okay.
I need to abstain because I wasn't present.
Okay. Thanks, Marilyn. Any discussion?
Should I not approve because I wasn't there?
Oh, well, we've had this discussion before. I'm going to let Jackie in.
I read the minutes.
If you read the minutes, I think you can participate in that.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Yeah. So actually, Marilyn, you don't really have to abstain, but that's
Okay.
if you've read them. So
I did read them.
okay. All right. Present to speak. Hi, Jackie.
Hi.
Hi. We got started at 7:01 tonight. Sorry, we didn't wait a little longer.
No worries. Sorry I'm late.
No worries. Okay, just so the recording documents that Jackie Kulig joined us at 7:03. Okay, no present to speak. Finance, treasurer's report, and speaking with Carol tonight, she said there's nothing new to report.
Did we vote on the minutes? I don't believe so.
Oh.
You asked for a discussion, and then we had a little bit of a discussion about who was there and who wasn't, who should vote or who shouldn't.
Thank you, Bob. Thanks for reminding me. So all in favor in accepting the minutes for September 20th, say aye.
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 Opposed? Okay, so moved. All right. Old business, property management, Fenton Ruby Park and Drobny Sanctuary. Does anybody have any report from being out there? Anybody want to share some information?
Sure. Over the past 2 weeks, I went out and I repaired part of the boardwalk by the Double Brook. Another board should probably be replaced. Curious thing about those, I think they're 8 foot or 9 foot, 8 or 9 foot, and the ends rot, but it looks like the centers are still fairly solid. We might be able to, it'd be interesting to take a skill saw out there and cut them and see if we can still get some time out of the centers of those.
Okay.
And about that same time, and this past Saturday, I went out and I repaired those 2 bridges just past Peter's bench by the river.
Okay. Yep.
And that one I replaced 2 boards, and the other one I replaced 1.
Oh, great.
So, and the only thing is those stringers are they're saturated, and the screws spin, they don't want to spin out. So so that I took care of those. That's the long and short of it. Okay,
thanks, Bob. Thanks for doing all that. So what you replaced on the ones near Peter's bench were the treads, the top parts?
Right.
Boards. Yeah. Okay, great.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay. Any other reports from Fenton Ruby? Patty, you had mentioned to me a few weeks ago about seeing some broken glass in the parking lot.
Yes, what appeared to be windshield glass. A
Okay.
fair amount. Yeah.
All right. I did, after you reported that to me, I did contact the first selectman's office just to ask them if they'd had anybody call the office to complain about something, or if there was any report to the state police. And I didn't hear anything back from the first selectman's office. So I guess there was nothing that they had heard. So, but yeah, it's kind of curious. I guess, maybe somebody locked their keys in their car and they had to break a side window or something to get in, or but hopefully it's not.
Yeah, that's what we thought too, but yeah, one or the other, I guess, right?
Yeah, you just
Okay.
hope, yeah, hopefully, because that would be very sad to hear. I haven't had any other stewards report. Chris and I were out there yesterday actually, and we did make some quick rounds looking at all the boardwalks and bridges in anticipation of the workday on Saturday, the 28th, and did earmark a few boards for replacing on some of the bridges, including the one you talked about, Bob. You had taken one of the long boards on the boardwalk, and we noted the other one probably should be replaced as well. So we've got some things written down, and we're going to go and pick up some materials from yeah, right.
Willards.
Willards, thank you. Willards and Willimantic. And we'll get some things set up for that day. So when the volunteers come, we can have people bring some boards out and get those things replaced.
On that one boardwalk where the double brook is,
yeah,
I also replaced that 6x6 that holds the sections up. That had rotted, and I had found a 6x6 out further on the trail around the pond that had never been used. So I brought that over, and there was one small rotted spot from just being out in the weather, but I did the best I could with that. So at least it's level. Before the two boards had collapsed about 4 inches down. And another thing about that, where I had replaced that, the one board facing the boardwalk that's leaning up against a tree, that's a brand new board that I found out along the trails. And I mean, it looks a little weathered, but it's never been used.
Okay.
So maybe we want to make sure we don't leave lumber out in the woods for too long. I mean, the ends are okay. The surface has a little bit of issues, but maybe we could, again, take that, cut it up, and see if we can't use it for treads someplace.
Okay. And so maybe on a map or something, Bob, if you have a chance, I can send you a copy of the trail map if you don't have one handy. You can just kind of mark on the map approximately where those boards are, so that we don't miss them on workday. We can make sure.
Yeah. Well, they're standing up like 4 feet away from that boardwalk where the double brooks come down. That's the one that I replaced, that one board.
Yep.
It's standing right up against the tree, right along the boardwalk.
Okay. It's funny, I didn't see it, but I did see some others. We have some other piles out there along other trails, like on Julia's. Some of them are the old boards that we just kind of, and it would be nice to carry those back out if we have enough people, and just, bring them out to the trailhead, and then Chris and I can put them in the truck and we can bring them over to the transfer station, get rid of them properly.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So going, any other things and one other thing I wanted to mention, it just, you reminded me, on the Ruby Trail, as you know, for all of the trailheads, Mark Drobny had made those nice metal signs that says "You are here," shows all of the hiking trails. And the one that's at the beginning of the Ruby Trail along Burma Road is gone. It may have been gone for quite a while because we have a paper map out there. But I did put in an email to Mark just asking him if he's still able to make those metal maps and what it would cost to replace that one. So I'll get back to you next meeting on that. So for the workday on Saturday, October 28th, we're going to start at 9:30 and probably try to stop around 11:30 so we can get back and people can enjoy having some refreshments, because I think last time we worked right up until 12, maybe a little after, by the time everybody got back together, and some people just started leaving. They didn't hang around, which is their option, but I didn't, I want to make sure people feel like they have some time to socialize too. So hopefully we can get whatever work issues we have done before 11:30 and then get back and socialize a little bit. We looked at the trailblazes when we were doing the trails, and things aren't bad right now in terms of blazing. So not sure we want to bother to do the painting right now. It may be a little cool to do it. I don't know, if we just wait till the spring. The blazes are in pretty good shape on most of the trails. I would say if anything needs it, it would be your trail, Patty. It would be Julia's.
Yep.
Yeah. And it's something, if you want to do at another time, we can give you the paint, something like that. One of us can go out, we can tag team, because
Okay.
usually we kind of scrape and then paint. So
Okay. Yeah, I'm happy to do that. I can do it to help do it, whatever.
okay.
Yeah.
And then the meadow that's at the far end of the Taylor Pond Trail, where the bench is, it had
Michael Bostridge's bench. Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty overgrown, and I'm not sure if we can really tackle the whole thing. But we certainly should brush back the trail edges, because it's starting to grow in as it kind of makes that loop that goes around, down toward the pond and then back out, and it's kind of coming together. So I think we could get a group of people out there with some brush cutters, and loppers and stuff, and just cut some of the saplings, the little tiny saplings that are growing on the edges, and push that back. That might be something we can do. Now, if I remember right, Patty, you said you can't make that weekend. Is
I
that
can't. Nope. We're having a luncheon, a bunch of friends of mine from like third grade.
Oh, great. No, that's okay. I just wondered
Yeah.
how many of our commissioners are going to be there. Nora, do you think you're going to be there? Oh, you're muted.
Sorry. Yeah, I think Mark and I can be there on the 28th, Saturday morning. We'll
Great.
bring our loppers.
Okay. Marilyn, will you be coming out?
I'll be coming out. Dave's a maybe, but I'll be there for sure.
Okay, great. Bob, what do you think? Will you be able to come?
Maybe.
Okay. And how about Jackie? Are you able to help out?
No, I can't do Saturdays, unfortunately.
Okay, all right. So what we can do is whoever is there, we can maybe break up the groups a little bit. I can Bob, if you're there, maybe you and Chris can kind of get the people that need the bridge work to do that. And between Nora and myself, we can get some people to start doing the brushing out and any other stuff. I'm trying to think if there was one more thing. It'll come to me that maybe we can work on too, if we have enough people. Because some of the Boy Scouts are coming. I did talk to Ken Flewitt. So we'll have some young hands to maybe get some of the boards out, which is also helpful. And quite a few people from Friends of the Park are coming. So we should have a good group out there. Hopefully we'll have good weather. All right. I can pick up some apple cider. Would people who are coming be willing to maybe make some cookies or brownies? If not, I can pick up other refreshments. So.
Well, if you can pick up some. We can pick up some.
Yeah, I can pick up some cookies or something. That's not a problem.
Okay. Well, I don't. If I'm picking up the apple cider, I can. Just stop at the store too. I may try to make some cookies, homemade cookies. I'll see how much time I have. But if not, we'll, maybe if everybody just brought a package of cookies or something, we can share with folks. Yeah. And I'll bring cups and napkins and those kinds of things, so you don't have to worry about that.
All right.
Okay.
I can make cookies, but I'd have to get them to someone Friday. I guess I can bring them to you, Bob, right? Friday night, just drop them off at your house.
Yeah.
If you go, you might not be going though.
Yeah. I promise I won't eat them.
Once they're out of my hands, I can't.
Tip,
But,
here's a tip on the cookies. If you go to Price Droppers and you buy the box of Krusteaz chocolate chip cookies, they are out of this world. And it's like $3. And it makes a lot of them.
Oh.
They're very good. I can attest to them.
So it's a box.
They're very good. It's a box mix, and you have to put some butter in it, and a little bit of milk, and
Okay.
it's
Okay.
really, they're really good.
The chocolate chip
called-
ones. Huh?
The chocolate chip
Krusteaz?
ones. Krusteaz. Krusteaz.
Thank you. Okay, I can do that.
Thanks, Marilyn. Okay. Any other comments about Fenton Ruby or Drobny Sanctuary? Knowlton Preserve, Talmadge Conservation. Oh, yeah, go ahead.
There's no idling ordinance in Wellington, is there? Because for quite some time there's been two. I actually work right upstairs from the resident state trooper, so I talked to him about it a little bit. There are two middle-aged men that are often in the parking lot drinking alcohol and idling their car.
Okay.
And they're very odd. They've approached me and two of my daughters, and then they walk away when the dogs go nuts on them that we have. But they're odd. And he encouraged me to call the state troopers, Troop C, right then and there. I mean, I don't want to throw anybody under the bus if they're sitting there, but there's something about them and their drinking. But I can't always tell if it's alcohol, but I see it enough that it is. And they're not doing anything horrible, but just to have been approached by them 2 or 3 times.
Did you take their license plate?
I did, and I looked and it was a registered vehicle.
Yeah.
So I did.
Patty, I think that all of us, if you feel that there's something wrong there, there's a good possibility that you're picking up the truth.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what he also said, but it's just and it's so inconsistent, but I would say it's actually been the last year and a half that they've been there at very random times, but it's them.
And you wonder if they're like from FedEx or something like that, like after work kind of thing.
I never even thought of that, but I don't know, maybe, but
or going to work.
Very inconsistent though, but nothing predictable. But they're there and nothing for a duration that makes me think, okay, they're here to stay and they're not causing any problems, I guess. But they're just, I just don't like the way they've approached with strange questions, I guess. Oh well.
Yeah.
Nobody's seen or heard any about.
No. I thought I saw that once.
Okay.
Where there were two gentlemen in a car, and just kind of, it was awkward.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
I've experienced that as well, and they are odd, and they're sitting in the car, and sometimes the radio's going.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm trying to think of what we can do as a commission. We don't have any specific rules against people sitting in their cars or the cars idling. Right. I'm trying to remember if there's anything about no alcohol in the park on
I thought there was.
The board. I'd have to double check, but that might be a way if it is posted that there's no alcoholic beverages, because technically it's town property. I don't know if the town in general has some kind of an ordinance that says you cannot have alcohol. I can check on that as well, like on town property. But that would be a reason perhaps to call the state police and say, hey, I'm a commission member. We have gentlemen here. we've got it posted, and I'm concerned about them drinking in their car and driving. That might be enough, reason to call.
Yeah.
And believe me, any trooper is going to understand that if you're calling and you're a woman, they will come. They're going to come. They don't expect the public to do their policing.
Yeah.
In fact, they probably don't want it to happen because it can get unruly. I think it's the best thing to do is to call the troopers.
Jackie,
And
I see.
let,
Sorry, I see Jackie has her hand up. Go ahead, Jackie.
No, I didn't. Sorry.
Oh. On the screen, you have the hand is up. Sorry. Oh, you know what? I
It was
apologize.
me.
No, it's actually my cursor has a hand on it. It was right by Jackie. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Marilyn.
no, that was all. I think it's the that's there's a little line they have. If you see something, say something.
Mhm.
There's a reason for it. There's a reason for it. People
Okay.
feel alienated and don't want to call the police, but this is a public safety issue. Potentially, it's a public safety issue.
Right. Yep.
Yep. Okay. Thank you.
All right. Knowlton Preserve, Talmadge Conservation Track. I haven't had any concerns voiced by any of the trail stewards. Things seem to be okay out there. Chris and I will be picking up some plywood to finish the kiosk out there, and also putting up the permanent trail map signs that we purchased last time. So now that we're back from Vermont, we'll be able to have time to do that. And I noticed that Public Works has removed that large rock pile from the parking area, and they redistributed the rocks along the old stone walls that are on both sides of the road. They did a nice job. So I did, reach out to them and thank them. So, town development, anybody have anything to share on new things going on in town that might pertain to conservation or?
No.
Don't forget to vote on November 7th.
Thanks, Christine.
See you at the polls.
Okay.
The marijuana dispensary opened last weekend.
Mhm.
They had their soft opening on Friday. They had their grand opening on Saturday. They had a food truck and a band down there.
How was that? Was it well attended or?
Saturday I wasn't down. I went down on Friday and chatted with a couple of the guys that are involved with that business, and kind of gotten to know them over the course of their proceedings with planning and zoning. So they're looking forward to a successful business. It's very nice, very professionally run, which I would expect. And a good amount of security. Show your ID before you go in the door. Show your ID once you get in the door. Show your ID when you get to the stations that are selling product.
Mhm.
So I think it's a good addition to our business community, and it may help bump up traffic in the mall there, so that maybe the businesses there will thrive, and maybe the owner will be able to rent out another space or so.
Mm-hmm. Okay. They did mention this too at the Board of Selectmen's meeting, and there will be, I guess, 3% of whatever the sales are will be going back to the town, and the town can use those for various projects. So
right, and it's not that cannot be used to supplement the town budget.
right.
That money will be used for social services, seniors, youth services, things like that.
Good.
Mental health. Yeah.
Mental health, yes.
Yeah.
Wow. Somebody raised that last night with a group I was in, if we were going to get any percentage of the sales.
Yes.
So we are 3%.
3%.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thanks for that update. Collaborative organization, news and communication. I sent out the Thames River Basin Partnership Report to all of you in case you were interested. And also today I sent out the information about the Khaki Whip Conference that's coming up on November 11th. It's going to be held in Bristol. And if anybody from the commission is interested in attending, we can pay for your registration fee. So if you're interested, you want to look online, see what kind of topics they're going to be presenting. You know, I've gone to it in the past. I thought it was very worthwhile. So if you want to take advantage of that, feel free. Pollinator Pathway Initiative. The only update I have is that UConn is going to be having a conference on native plants and pollinators. That's going to be on Thursday, November 2nd, and it's going to be at the student ballroom. So if anybody's interested, again, you know, that might be something that we can pay for as a commission. If anybody's interested in learning more about that, I can send you the information. Oh, looks like Patty got bumped off and she's coming back in. Hi, Patty. Hi again. Open space opportunities on Burma Road. So last time we met, we talked about getting some information from the town of Ashford about that portion of Lustig Road that would be required for us to use to get into the property to be able to take the camp down. And worked with the Board of Selectmen's office. They contacted the Board of Selectmen in Ashford. They went back and looked through all of their records and come to find out that back in 1929, there was a town meeting where they discontinued that portion of Lustig. They didn't, and then in 1935, the Board of Selectmen in Ashford literally wrote in their minutes the same thing. They officially discontinued that portion of the road. So what happens then is that whoever's property is bounded by that section of road, they basically, their property line then becomes the middle of that roadbed. And so for us to access that road to get down to the Pettix property, we would have to get permission from 3 landowners along that part of the discontinued road. So Selectman Wojcinski is going to talk to the town attorney, find out a little bit more, make sure that we understand exactly what that means, you know, in terms of the property rights of those particular landowners. They are in Ashford. And whether or not it might make sense to contact them and look at trying to at least discuss the possibility of getting an easement across their properties that are now that roadbed to be able to get the camp out of there. So, and also in the future to be able to maintain the dam, because as you know, it was recommended that we cut the trees that are on the dam now and then maintain that as more of an open grassy area over time so that the dams don't breach. So those are things we're still going to be having to look at before we can really make a decision about recommending this property for town purchase.
Yeah.
So, and go ahead.
It's a good thing you got that information. That's all very important to our decision making.
Yeah. And yesterday, I had asked Troy and Erica to walk back up Burma Road from where the stones are, to go up that part of Burma Road with me to look at whether it might be feasible, at least to fix that part of the road enough to get up to the Pettix property. And as we were walking, you know, there's a lot of erosion there. There's water coming down that road. Basically, Troy said it's doable. I mean, they could bring in enough fill and slope the side of the road to help with the drainage. enough to get their trucks up there, but it would take a lot more time and a lot more money than it would to just do a very small little repair on the unmaintained portion of, or the discontinued portion of Lustig. So we thought we would try working with the landowners first.
That makes sense.
Okay. So I'll let Mrs. Pettix know, you know, kind of where we're at. You know, she's been very patient. She really actually at this point doesn't have a lot of options because she would have to go through the same process really to be able to use that property or to even try to sell it, I think. So that's where that is. Any other open space opportunities that anybody knows about? Come on. Oh. Okay.
No.
Okay. Under Willington Wire, want to thank Marilyn for submitting the last issue from the Conservation Commission. Thanks, Marilyn. That looked really good.
I'm going to do an article on the beaver, or a short part on the beavers. I've been gathering up beaver information just to make it so that when people stand there and look at the beaver dam, they can be in awe of what's going on underneath the water.
Oh, wow. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So is that something you want to submit for the next time due in
Yeah,
December?
it'll be for the next one. Yeah.
Thank you. All
Yeah.
right. Great. Excellent. I'm reading a book right now. I forget who the author is. It's called Eager. It's about beavers, the history of beavers and how important they are to how important they were to the river systems and wetlands before the colonists came, and how, you know, they really have been able to shape a lot of the topography that we have and how important they are now for flood reduction and habitat. So it's really, I'm sure you're finding that too as you're reading.
Yeah.
It's a good book. If anybody wants to borrow it when I'm done, I'd be happy to share it. And then Nora, you had some exciting event at the library. How'd it go?
It was fine. It was fun. There was probably a total of 12 people that came through. Oh. So we had a vet that came through at the end, a veteran, and then a couple families, some grandparents with a little toddler, a mom who's new to the community from Turkey. Lovely people. And they, a set of grandparents that had no idea about Fenton Ruby or any of the trail systems that we have here in town. So I kind of shared that information too, but everybody was really nice. And we left the pelts and the skulls and stuff in the display case. So I'll pick those up at the end of the month, and it's great.
Great. Oh, that's great. Okay. I'm just going to write this down that the skulls and the pelts are in the case in case people read our minutes. Great. Okay.
And if anybody, I told Steve Jones that if anybody wanted to, you know, touch them, handle them, he could open up the case, or the librarians could open up the case and let people handle them. So
that's great. Excellent. Okay. The only other thing I'd like to report under old business is just again remind everybody on the commission that we still have 1 regular and 2 alternate seats open. And so as you find opportunities to spread the word about the commission, that would be great. We really would love to have some new members and, you know, make sure we have a legacy plan in place as we get older.
No, we're not getting any younger.
Not me. Under new business communications, speaking of Steve Jones, who is the Willington Public Library programmer, he contacted me and would like to come to our November meeting to discuss their summer 2024 reading program. They're participating in, it's kind of a nationwide project to bring more information like through the libraries. And in this year, the theme is conservation. And so he thought it might be nice to brainstorm with us, maybe even partner with us to think of some possible programs and events that they can have for their summer reading program. So he'll be coming in November to our meeting. I'll put him on the agenda first so he doesn't have to hang around the whole time. If you want to give some thoughts to that in the meantime about some potential conservation themes or topics that maybe we can work with the library on, either by co-sponsoring something or getting an event that I don't know if the library does anything off-site. We'll have to talk to Steve, but something we could partner with at one of the parks or the trails. That might be a potential. So some ideas, I just started to think about this because I knew about it ahead of time. I just was thinking, could we do something on, bats or amphibians or, pollinators? We've already got the pollinator garden and some information that the Girl Scouts have put together. Other things like raptors, Horizon Wings. I know that they've done demonstrations before. And my understanding is they don't do any more outdoor demonstrations because there's some type of, I'm trying to remember this, some type of avian disease that can be spread easily. So they do all of their programs indoors now so that their raptors don't get exposed to birds from the wild. So
I know at our school, we had a one school, one read wishing tree. And we're in contact with a group that bring possums to they're going to bring them to our school. So, I can find out that information. That might be interesting. I guess they get fatigued easily. So they have to, have a break between the presentations at our school. But maybe they'd be something that we could bring in or, partner with Steve.
Yeah.
Be pretty cool.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, good. Put your thinking caps on, see what we can do, because we really want to encourage our youngsters to get more involved in nature and conservation for sure. Okay. The other thing under new business I just wanted to mention is that at the Board of Selectmen meeting yesterday, on Monday, it was brought up that a gentleman had requested the opportunity to hunt on the Cattle Rock property. I don't know if all of you are familiar with that property. It used to be where the
Wagon Shed was.
Thank you, Bob.
Wagon Shed restaurant.
On 44. So what happened is that's a brownfield, and part of it's in Ashford, part of it's in Wellington. And the town of Wellington and Ashford basically received that property because taxes were never paid on it. They took possession of it legally. And now the towns are trying to consider what they want to do on it in the future. The town of Ashford owns about 300 acres and the town of Wellington owns 41 acres. And our parcel has the Connecticut Forest and Parks Nipmuc Trail runs through it, as well as it runs on the Ashford side too, but mostly along its border, its northern border. So this issue came up. I guess the town of Ashford denied this person the ability to hunt. He used to hunt on the property, I guess, before the towns took it over. And so the Board of Selectmen started to discuss it yesterday. And basically, none of them are against hunting, and thought that it might be something just to possibly look into. And I know our commission has considered this in the past. We talked a little bit about this on the Knowlton property, whether we would, and this was based on the forester's recommendation that we consider some limited, maybe archery hunting, because the deer populations are so high that they are really damaging the forest floor. They're eating up all of the young regrowth. And so that was something, I'm just wondering if the town starts to consider this on one piece of property, like the Cato Rock property, whether or not they would also be looking at possibly doing it on other town-owned property. So I just wanted to make you aware of it. So.
Well, I think when we first got the Knowlton property, it was the discussion but within the commission was, did we want to have another preserve? And I think the overall theme that we talked about was, there's a number of people in town that are hunters, and it's taxpayer money that helped purchase those pieces of property. So that, we have set aside 300 some acres at Fenton Ruby as a preserve, and the other properties, it wouldn't be a bad thing if we allowed hunting. Again, certain types of hunting, especially where we have trails. So that's a different concern. And the Cato Rock property, I see nothing wrong with having somebody hunt there. My dad and I used to trap on properties before, and if we wanted to trap, we created a document that we had the landowner sign and we signed, and it basically put all the liability on anything that would possibly happen when we were on the property on us. So that, everything was clear who was responsible for what. So it's something the town's going to look into. I attended that meeting on Monday also. So it'll be interesting to see what they find, because there's other towns that do allow hunting on their town properties.
Right. And they have a protocol for that,
Right.
They may do a lottery to allow just so many permits. There's certain regulations that they have to adhere to. There might be specific areas within that town property that they're allowed to hunt. So yeah. So I just thought, it may come up in the future, and it may be, the Cato Rock is not technically designated as open space. It's town-owned property, but it's not dedicated open space. It doesn't have an easement on it per se. It's to that effect at this point. So we're not managing that. We're not, it's not something under conservation right now, but it may be something that if they start to develop these policies for potentially allowing hunting on town property, we might be asked about it as well, or we might even want to say there are areas that limited hunting may be helpful for forest health.
I'd be curious, Willington's designated open space in comparison to other towns, because I don't think we have a lot. I could be wrong though. So what we do have to open it up for hunting is concerning for me. Do we have an abundance in Willington of open space, designated open space, or town parks compared to other towns who do the hunting on town property?
I'm not sure, Patty, how it compares. I could tell you, because Carol's done such a great job of keeping a list of all of our open space, conserved open space property. I could give you a number on that, and I can send it to you. I'm not sure where I get that information about other towns, but we certainly could look into it. But I think something as heavily used as Fenton Ruby property, I personally would not be in favor of having hunting allowed anywhere near the trails there, because it's just so heavily used, and having people park in the parking area and walking in with shotguns or even archery equipment might be very unnerving for people to see. There may be other parts of the park, like way back, for example, where the Pettix property is, there's where we had the timber harvest, for example, way back in the park. But the thing is, the only access point would be from the parking area.
Yeah.
So
and then the part on the other side of the road isn't very big for hunting.
right there is other town owned property that's not considered open space. That the town could potentially use, where it's not really, nobody's using it recreationally, it's just town owned space.
I do remember though, when I was on the Conservation Commission like 25 years ago, and our job one year was to walk all those properties, like on Pinecrest, there's property, and they were never big areas.
No, they're not.
They're they're small little parcels. You wouldn't be able to hunt on.
No, because you probably, well, for firearms, you couldn't be 500 feet away from any structure.
Right.
So that's what it is, 500 feet?
Yeah.
Okay.
Would these folks be following the same rules? I mean, I'm not a hunter at all, but I know that there's seasons for it, and that there's certain times of the year where they are allowed to hunt in places. Is that something that would be followed, since that is a state law?
Yes.
Yeah, you'd have to follow all the state regulations.
Well, that certainly would, from my point of view, I think that makes a lot of sense, because everybody would know when that time of the year is, and maybe you just don't hike in that part of the park at that time of the year, because you know that it's designated to start and stop at a certain time. And if it was all very well posted, people wouldn't have to have anxiety about worrying that they're going to meet up with something they don't want to meet up with.
Christine and I have camped in Massachusetts at some of their state areas, and most of them allow hunting. And when you're hiking, it's posted what areas are used for hunting and what time of year. So it's posted to alert people about that possibility.
Right.
And there's warnings about wearing red or fluorescent, so that people would be, you can make yourself known when you're in the woods.
Yeah.
So there'll certainly be a lot more discussion. There'll probably be, if they come up with some kind of draft of something, they would certainly, it sounds like, put it to a public hearing. It wouldn't just be the Board of Selectmen making the decision outright. Right. So, and who knows? I mean, this particular individual that asked to use the property for hunting, if he finds out that they're looking at, doing this more to open it up to everyone potentially, he may say, that really wasn't what I was looking for. I was just hoping you'd let me hunt the property, So I don't know where this will all go, but I thought I'd just let people know about it. Any other comments? Jackie, I was just curious, do you allow hunting on your property?
We don't allow non-family members to hunt on our property, but we do have fields in Ashford that we have a nuisance permit, and we have in the past allowed people to hunt because the deer pressure is really high, and we definitely have crop loss. So, yeah.
Jackie, I saw a very large coyote pass right before the farm stand this morning. So,
wow. Okay.
Have you seen it down there?
No, I haven't.
All right. Well,
I see signs of coyote, and we hear them up on the hill across the river quite often, although not as much this year.
Yeah, so. He was big. He crossed right in front of me, so just to let you know.
Okay, thank you.
Is there anything else anybody wants to add to the agenda, or any news that we haven't discussed that people want to share? All right. Well, looks like we made it under our hour mark. So All right, everybody. Well, I hope you have a good week, and look forward to seeing some of you on the 28th. If anything comes up in between meetings, let me know.
Okay.
Great.
Okay, nice to see everybody.
Good
Good seeing
night.
everybody.
Thank
Night.
you.
Bye-bye.
Good
Bye-bye.
night. Meeting was adjourned at 7:51.